What drives a soul to transcend the mundane and seek the eternal? Join us on a journey with Swami Vivekananda as he delves deep into the mysteries of life, death, and the divine. This is a story of profound spiritual transformation and unshakable devotion. In today's episode, we follow Swami Vivekananda as he embarks on a soul-stirring pilgrimage to the cave of Amarnath. Witness his encounters with the divine, his reflections on Buddha, Shiva, and Kali, and his unique perspective on the dualities of existence. This chapter captures a critical moment in the Swami's life, where spirituality, philosophy, and raw human experience intertwine. Prepare to be inspired by the depth of his devotion and the timeless wisdom he imparts. Of Buddha, the Swami said that he was the greatest man that ever lived. Above all, he never claimed worship. Buddha said, "Buddha is not a man but a state. I have found the way. Enter all of you." Then the talk would drift to the conception of sin among the Egyptian, Semitic, and Aryan races. According to the Vedic conception, the Swami said, "The devil is the lord of anger, and with Buddhists he is Mara, the lord of lust." Whereas in the Bible the creation was under the dual control of God and Satan, in Hinduism Satan represented defilement, never duality. Next, the Swami would speak about the chief characteristics of the different nations. "You are so morbid, you Westerners," he said one day. "You worship sorrow. All through your country I found that. Social life in the West is like a peal of laughter, but underneath it is a wail. The whole thing ends in a sob. The fun and frivolity are all on the surface, really. It is full of tragic intensity. Here, it is sad and gloomy on the outside, but underneath are detachment and merriment." Once at Islamabad, as the group sat round him on the grass in an apple orchard, the Swami repeated what he had said in England after facing a mad bull. Picking up 2 pebbles in his hand, he said, "Whenever death approaches me, all weakness vanishes. I have neither fear nor doubt nor thought of the external. I simply busy myself making ready to die. I am as hard as that." And the stones struck each other in his hand. "For I have touched the feet of God." At Islamabad, the Swami announced his desire to make a pilgrimage to the great image of Shiva in the cave of Amarnath in the glacial valley of the western Himalayas. He asked Nivedita to accompany him so that she, a future worker, might have direct knowledge of the Hindu pilgrim's life. They became a part of a crowd of thousands of pilgrims, who formed at each halting place a whole town of tents. A sudden change came over the Swami. He became one of the pilgrims, scrupulously observing the most humble practices demanded by custom. He ate 1 meal a day, cooked in the orthodox fashion, and sought solitude as far as possible to tell his beads and practice meditation. In order to reach the destination, he had to climb up rocky slopes along dangerous paths, cross several miles of glacier, and bathe in the icy water of sacred streams. On August 2, the party arrived at the enormous cavern, large enough to contain a vast cathedral. At the back of the cave, in a niche of deepest shadow, stood the image of Shiva, all ice. The Swami, who had fallen behind, entered the cave, his whole frame shaking with emotion. His naked body was smeared with ashes and his face radiant with devotion. Then he prostrated himself in the darkness of the cave before that glittering whiteness. A song of praise from hundreds of throats echoed in the cavern. The Swami almost fainted. He had a vision of Shiva himself. The details of the experience he never told anyone, except that he had been granted the grace of Amarnath, the Lord of Immortality, not to die until he himself willed it. The effect of the experience shattered his nerves. When he emerged from the grotto, there was a clot of blood in his left eye, his heart was dilated and never regained its normal condition. For days he spoke of nothing but Shiva. He said, "The image was the Lord himself. It was all worship there. I have never seen anything so beautiful, so inspiring." On August 8th, the party arrived at Srinagar, where they remained until September 30th. During this period, the Swami felt an intense desire for meditation and solitude. The Maharaja of Kashmir treated him with the utmost respect and wanted him to choose a tract of land for the establishment of a monastery and a Sanskrit college. The land was selected and the proposal sent to the British resident for approval, but the British agent refused to grant the land. The Swami accepted the whole thing philosophically. A month later, his devotion was directed to Kali, the Divine Mother, whom Ramakrishna had called affectionately "my mother." A unique symbol of the Godhead, Kali represents the totality of the universe, creation and destruction, life and death, good and evil, pain and pleasure, and all the pairs of opposites. She seems to be black when viewed from a distance, like the water of the ocean, but to the intimate observer she is without color, being one with Brahman, whose creative energy she represents. In one aspect, she appears terrible, with a garland of human skulls, a girdle of human hands, her tongue dripping blood, a decapitated human head in one hand and a shining sword in the other. Surrounded by jackals that haunt the cremation ground, a veritable picture of terror. The other side is benign and gracious, ready to confer upon her devotees the boon of immortality. She reels as if drunk. Who could have created this mad world except in a fit of drunkenness? Kali stands on the bosom of her divine consort. Shiva, the symbol of Brahman for Kali or nature, cannot work unless energized by the touch of the Absolute. And in reality, Brahman and Kali, the Absolute and its creative energy, are identical, like fire and its power to burn. The Hindu mind does not make a sweepingly moralistic distinction between good and evil. Both are facts of the phenomenal world and are perceived to exist when Maya hides the Absolute, which is beyond good and evil. Ramakrishna emphasized the benign aspect of the Divine Mother Kali and propitiated her to obtain the vision of the Absolute. Swami Vivekananda suddenly felt the appeal of her destructive side. But is there really any difference between the process of creation and destruction? Is not the one without the other an illusion of the mind? In our next episode, we will journey with Swami Vivekananda as he explores the profound and often terrifying dimensions of the Divine Mother Kali. Experience his intense meditation, hear the powerful poem he wrote in a moment of divine vision, and witness how these revelations reshaped his understanding of spirituality. This chapter will delve into Swami Vivekananda's encounter with Mother Kali and his transformative teachings on embracing both the divine light and darkness. Don't miss this deep dive into the heart of his spiritual experiences and their impact on his mission. Thank you for listening till the end. Please subscribe, turn on the notifications, like, comment, and share with your friends. This will help more listeners to discover our channel and content.